Hi guys, it's Nancy, and I'm going to hopefully teach you some tips and tricks to hot foiling you may or may not have known. So if you don't know me, hi, I'm Nancy Stamps, Empress of Foiling. I do a ton of videos on foiling, hot foiling, toner foiling. If you don't know the difference, you need to go back to my very, very long video that says, don't start foiling until you watch this video. It is very long. I warn you, you're going to want to take notes, but this video is strictly on tips and tricks to hot foiling. Okay, so number one thing you want to know is, what is the difference between toner foiling and hot foiling? A ton. The first thing is, this is hot foiling. Hot foiling. There are basically three main machines to hot foiling. This is the Glimmer machine from Spellbinders. It is probably the most popular one, okay? You can get this machine in the US, you can get this machine in the UK. There is a voltage difference, but it takes special hot foil plates or dies, and these plates impress a design into your foil, into your paper. Okay. The second thing is the foils. Okay. There are many different companies that create hot foils, but these foils have adhesive built into it. So this adhesive, when it gets hot, it sticks to your paper versus toner foil. Toner foil sticks to the toner, which is laser printed, okay? So that's why when you mix up your foils, it makes a huge mess of a difference when you mix up your foils. So you want to keep your hot foils separate from your toner foils separate from your hot foils, and it is two different machines, okay? So hot foiling requires a special plate, special foils, and then this gets run through a die cutting machine. Your die cutting machine would be like your Big Shot. In this case, we're going to use the Spellbinders Platinum. And this is a little bit more of an expensive system because not only do you need two machines, because you need your hot foil machine, your die cutting machine, but you also have to buy these special dies, okay, or these special plates. So hot foil plates, and sometimes they can come with dies where you can cut out the designs and things like that. So this is a little bit more of an expensive system. It does take a learning curve versus toner foiling. Toner foiling is a little bit cheaper. It's a little bit easier to use. So if you just want to start out with foiling, I would recommend toner foiling. This is a little bit expensive, a little bit more expensive, a little bit more of a learning curve. So yeah, but I want to talk about tips and tricks because we're really going to focus on negative foiling, inverse foiling. Some people call it waste foiling. A lot of you guys struggle with that. So that's what we're going to focus on today. How do I get my waste foiling to come out a little bit better? I have a hack for you. We're going to talk about that. All right, so first things first is I have to get some waste foil. So I have in here, Spellbinders has what's called the Glimmer Plate of the Month, Glimmer Club of the Month, where they give you a roll of foil every month and they give you a glimmer plate. Actually, what's in here is the January plate. This is the February plate. March had some sentiments and some sentiments and the dies to cut out the sentiments. So what's in here is January's. I'm going to show that to you and we're going to run it through. So to use this system, you turn it on, you plug it in, you turn it on back here. You put your plate in. The plate is always image side up. And then you put your foil in, and the foil is always pretty side down, ugly side up. You might want to put a little note on here that says pretty side down. And we wait for the light to turn green, and then we press this timer button. All this timer does is it sets it for 60 seconds. So we're basically leaving everything in here for 60 seconds. There are two plates. There's a very thin shim and a clear shim. I have taped mine together with heat safe tape. That's another video you can go and watch. And my timer is now done. So we are now going to run this through our die cutting system, which applies pressure. So we have heat. Now we're going to apply pressure. So inside here is our plate, our foil, and paper. And the paper I have applied is black glossy paper. And the black glossy paper I'm using is from Marco's paper. It's just super black. So hint number one is obviously use the right foil. Make sure everything is sandwiched correctly. So plate, and you want to use special hot foil plates. These don't cut. They are flat, so they will leave an impression. You want to use the right foil. Foil should be facing up. And you want to use, hint number 2, is use a really smooth paper. The smoother the paper, the better your foiling is going to come out. So I'm using a black glossy paper, okay? And I'm going to run this through my die cutting machine. This is going to be hint number 3. You want to use the coordinating machines. Unfortunately, not all machines are going to work. If you have an older Big Shot machine, you might require some extra shims. It's just these two machines were meant to work together because they come from the same manufacturer. It's a Spellbinder's hot foiling machine. This is a Spellbinder's die cutting machine. These new machines do wear out. These are wheels. There's bearings in here, and unfortunately, as we use them, they get worn out, and they do wear out, and they can skip. I have had some machines where they skip and they just don't die cut as well. They don't roll as well, and you get flat spots in them, and they just don't work as well anymore. So you do occasionally have to upgrade your machine. Sometimes a Big Shot machine doesn't work as well. It's a different manufacturer, and you're not going to get the best results. So there's another hot foiling company out there called the Gemini machine. It works with the Gemini die cutting machine. There is another machine called a Go Press and Foil machine. You can really use that with any machine, but you know, there are different machines for different companies. So just keep that in mind. You want to buy the machine that works with the machine you already have. All right, the next thing you want to do is you want to let this cool down. Now, I used rainbow foil with this. I love this plate. I don't know if it's available anymore, but this was the January Club of the Month hot foil plate. I'm going to take this out. It is going to be warm, so you want to be careful and let that cool down. I'm going to move on to my next one. I actually am going to move this one sideways. And I just have some green foil. And I'm going to try, this is Spellbinder's silver metallic plate, or silver metallic paper. Again, super smooth paper, okay? And we're going to go sideways with this one. So another hint is, you'll notice I'm going sideways with this instead of going horizontally. As you run this through your machine, if you go horizontally with it, notice how our rollers are this way when we roll it through the machine. I call those speed bumps. If you're rolling it through the machine and we go over these speed bumps, it causes jumping of the machine. Then you're going to get jumping of the foiling. So if you can put it through vertically, it's going to be a smoother ride. If you put it through horizontally, it's going to be a bumpier ride. So it's going to cause your machine to jump. It's going to cause your foiling to jump. You're not going to have as smooth foiling. So put it through vertically if you can. It's the same thing I say when we do sentiments. If you put your sentiments through, especially if you have to die cut them, if you put them through the machine like this, and our rollers go through like this, it's going to jump. So try to put them through vertically like this. It's going to be a smoother ride as the rollers go over it. Okay, so keep that in mind. So those are some tips and tricks I'm trying to give you guys along the way to help you with your foiling. So now we're going to plug this back in. This is the heating connector here. You want to make sure that is pressed all the way in. This is going to go from red to green. As soon as that turns green, it means our connectors are connected. It's going to warm up to temperature, and we're going to press this button. So we're going to give that a second to turn green. In the meantime, this is now nice and cool. We want to wait for it to cool before we reveal it. And what a difference the right paper makes. Now you guys are going, oh my gosh, that's beautiful. But wait, Nancy, what happened here? Okay, well, what happened here is a number of things. The design on here is a super close-knit design, so the foil like to stick in that design, but also it's a super smooth paper, and the foil wants to stick everywhere to this, okay? It's the nature of hot foil. What I told you before is hot foil has an adhesive built into it, so as soon as the heat and the foil touches, it's going to want to stick. We're not going to panic. How we remove that extra foil that is stuck in that area there is we take some low tack adhesive tape, which you can take pixie tape, or you can take washi tape, or you can take the Spellbinder's yellow tape. I like the pixie tape because it seems to be a little bit easier. And you're just going to tap on there. Okay, so I want you to notice right in this area here, we have a little bit of what we call extra overfoiling. Okay, I'm just going to take the tape and I'm lightly going to touch that area. I'm not going to rub, I'm not going to scrub, just going to lightly touch that area. The tape will do the work for you. If you take a eraser and scrub at it, because this is a glossy paper, you're going to scratch your paper. And do you see what the tape is doing? The tape is lifting the foil where it's not supposed to be out of those little cracks and crevices where it's not supposed to be. It's leaving the foil where it is supposed to be and just taking it out of those cracks and crevices. Now, my paper is probably a little larger than what I need it to be anyway, so I would probably, because it's on the edges, just cut that down. I'm not too worried about it. We are handmade card makers. This is green. It's ready. I'm going to hit this. All this is a 60-second countdown. That's all that is. I'm not really doing anything here but counting down 60 seconds. Now I just kind of ripped my paper there because it's on the edge. But just trying to be real gentle here. Do not use a sand eraser and scrub at this paper because, again, it's very delicate. But you'll see that that foil is being lifted where it's not supposed to be. Okay? But I have a pretty decent image. Again, you're handmade card makers. It doesn't have to be perfect. You want to get it pretty close. And really what I should have done is lined my paper up and moved it over because, look, I missed a whole side here. So that's one of your tips and tricks, okay? But really what I'm after is this because I want to show you how to use this. This is what we call the leftover, negative, or waste foil, okay? What we're going to do is show you guys how to use this, okay? That's what we're going after, so we're going to save that. All right, 60 seconds is up. We're going to now foil this piece. Bring our machine back in. Carefully remove that. Bring it over here. Run it through nice and slow. Take your time. It is not a race. Notice I don't have any jumping, bumping. No speed bumps. And this is the metallic cardstock from Spellbinders. It's super smooth. This came out of the treasured cardstock. It's this last piece here, the pearl metallic. Okay, glitter, you could foil on it, but it's super bumpy. Okay, this is not the matte, not the brush. It's this one down here, the pearl metallic. Okay, you can probably hot foil on all of these. Just got to try them out. Pearl metallic is what I'm using. Okay, we're going to let this cool down. And we're going to peel. And do you see how perfect that is? Okay, so if you want perfect leftover pieces, you have to have perfect foil pieces. Paper makes a difference. The paper that I normally recommend is the Hammermill 100-pound color premium cardstock. I will link it down below. It's in my Amazon shop. The 100-pound, okay, is the weight that I recommend. But you're going to get fabulous results if you use ultra smooth cardstock. So colored cardstock for toner foiling is very difficult to find. But when it comes to hot foiling, if it is smooth, it will stick because this foil already has adhesive built into it. Okay, so the smoother it is, the better it is, okay? Okay, now, there's two ways that you can do negative foiling. One is to use a solid hot foil plate. Now, Spellbinders does not have a solid hot foil plate yet. They have a small itty bitty one. Let me show you what it looks like. I don't have it. But the size of the Spellbinders one is, they don't have a full size one. They only have a little rectangle, okay? It's great if you just want to do a small portion of the design. They do not have a full solid one, okay? You can get one from Catherine Pooler. You can get one from Pink and Main. I do have a waffle flower one. I will link the other companies if you want to do that, okay? What you need to do is you need to make sure that this is nice and hot. So I do recommend heating it twice, okay? And you're going to put your foil on there. Actually, let me do the other one. You're going to put your foil on there pretty side down. It's always going to be pretty side down, okay? So, secret number 1 is heat your plate, heat your solid plate twice. You need this to be extra hot. Secret number 2 is what I've already told you. Your paper needs to be super smooth. So, you want to use the glossiest, smoothest paper you can have. Any of the glossy papers that you already have in your pile. So, any of these super smooth papers, like the matte metallic, brush metallic, mirrored, pearl, these will all work. The Spellbinder specialty paper, which secret, it's a Yupo paper, will work. Anything super smooth will work better than plain white paper, okay? Anything that's textured will not work as well. Any colored paper will not work as well. So regular black paper will not work. Regular colored paper will not work as well, okay? Anything that is super smooth or has a coating on it is going to work fabulously because it's going to melt. So these coated papers are going to work because they melt, okay? So I'm just going to cut a piece of this Chrome Coat Gloss paper just to show it to you. Any of these glossy cardstocks that you have will work. If it has a glossy coating, it's going to work fabulously because it's going to melt. And you want that. You want it to melt. But I have another secret that works even better. So stay tuned. Okay. The other thing that you're going to probably want to do to have better results, if you're not sure, is you want to add a paper shim. Oh, you want to put the colored side down. Sorry. Colored side down. I almost messed that up. Okay, so you want to have your solid plate on there nice and hot. And you want to have the glossy side of your paper. The glossier the paper, the better, okay? And you want to have a shim on here, okay? The thicker the paper, the better. And you want to have some kind of a shim on here. Let me just grab... I thought I had one cut. Okay, this is just a paper shim. Oh, I don't want to use that. I don't want to mess that up. Okay, you want to grab a paper shim and put that on there. So you want to heat it twice, and you want a paper shim, and you want glossy paper if you are using a solid plate. So I'm going to pause the video because I'm going to let this heat through 2 heat cycles. So what's going to happen is this is going to turn green. I'm going to set the timer. I'm going to disengage it, re-engage it, and hit the timer again. So I'll be right back. Okay, just want to show you guys my machine has come to temperature. It turned green. I hit the button. It is almost ready to be done. This is the first cycle. So it should be done in just a few seconds more. And again, this is just a 60-second timer. Okay, so now what we're going to do is just disengage it. Okay, we're going to re-engage it. So it's going to come up to temperature again and turn green again, and we are going to hit the timer again. So we're going to do that for 2 cycles when we are doing the negative. We want it to get hot twice, and we want to have that extra shim of pressure. So anytime you are using a solid hot foil plate, you want to get it extra hot, and you want that extra piece of paper shim in there. Okay, because this is why you guys, a lot of you guys are not having success at using the solid hot foil plate. You don't have enough heat, you don't have enough pressure. Okay, so we're going to let this go through a second time, and then I will bring you guys back and we'll show you what it looks like. But the most important thing is to have the utmost smoothest paper. So if you can grab yourself the Spellbinder specialty paper or Yupo paper, that is going to give you the greatest success. Plain paper is not going to work. Plain colored paper or cardstock is definitely not going to work because that paper is very porous, and foil doesn't like porous paper. Foil likes super smooth, glossy paper, and that's why this metallic paper works, because it is a pearlescent paper. It is super shiny, super smooth. You can see how flawless those results are. The same with the glossy paper. I mean, it's really trying to stick to that paper. So the smoother your paper is, when you do the results with this, with negative paper, it's going to stick to everything. That's what it wants to do. And you're going to see my next hack is going to be the ultimate result when it comes to using negative. And some of you already know what that hack is. So this is going to be done here in just a second here. And we're going to bring the platinum machine up. And this is when you're using the solid hot foil plate. And again, Catherine Pooler has one. Pink Fresh Studios has one. Waffle Flower has one. I'll put all those links down below for you guys if you don't have one. But the Spellbinders one is just a tiny little rectangle. They don't have a full solid plate. Okay, it is done turning green now. I'm going to disengage it. So now we have run it through 2 heat cycles, and we have the shim. It is going to be much thicker now, so you are going to have to use a little bit of elbow grease, and just 1 thick shim is all you should need. Okay. And again, you want to let it cool down. And if you use glossy paper, this should be flawless results for you. Let that cool down. I'm going to move this out of the way because I'm going to show you my ultimate hack, which is I don't even use a solid plate anymore because I use this other hack now. Okay, now that this has cooled down, you can see it actually stuck to our shim. All right. And, oops. You can see we have a full peel of results. And that's what we wanted. So this was our original glimmer plate, and this is our leftover foil. And that's what you want when you are using the solid or leftover foil. Now, just a reminder, if you have any flaw in your original, that flaw is going to carry over here. So for example, we had that overfoiling over here, so that foil left behind on here. That's not this plate's fault. That's because it overfoiled over here. So we knew that was going to happen, but that's what you want when you are using the solid plate. So sometimes you need to heat your plate twice and you need to use an extra shim. All right, but the ultimate hack is, and you can use this hack on any leftover foil. So I have a bucket, because I do a lot of foiling, of all my leftover foil pieces, okay? It doesn't matter if it's toner foiling, if it is hot foiling. I keep all my leftover foils over here, okay? And the reason I do that, because I do a lot of foiling, is it doesn't matter to me if it's toner foiling or if it's hot foiling. This is the hack that you are going to want to use, okay? Now, if you have a laminator, usually a Amazon Basics or a swing line laminator will work best. But for those of you who have the Gina K Fuse machine or a Pink and Main Mink machine or a Mink machine, this is going to work best. You will want to get yourself some Gina K Poly Glaze or any of the Pink and Main toner or ThermoWeb toner sheets. These come in a variety of different shapes and colors now, okay? These are full toner sheets. Okay, Gina K has the white poly glaze, but Pink and Main has all kinds of colors of these toner sheets, okay? These are called toner sheets. And today we're going to use the Gina K white poly glaze. Remember when you get these to mark the back with an X? Okay, so you know which side to use. But you can literally take any foil, put your machine on 4 with the poly glaze. With the Pink and Main, you're going to use 3. And you are going to want to dusty the shiny side. See it shiny? And I'm using the Craft and Carrier sheets with these. You can use your carrier sheet that comes with your machine, but I'm using these because you're using a full solid sheet of poly glaze. And you want to make sure that your foil is going to cover that. Now my foil is slightly shy of that, but it doesn't matter if it is hot foil or it is toner foil. The poly glaze is going to stick to the whole thing. This is going to melt. You can use these with hot foil sheets or toner foil sheets. But the poly glaze is going to melt and it is going to give us beautiful results. So I'm using this because all of this exposed area that is white, that's going to melt. And I don't want that melting in my carrier sheets, so I'm using these Craft and Carrier sheets from ThermoWeb because they're non-stick. Remember, this is hot foil. Yes, I'm using a toner foil poly glaze sheet. It's going to foil flawlessly. Watch. It's going to stick to my poly glaze. But I don't have to use just poly glaze. I could have used any color of these Pink and Main rainbow toner sheets, tone-on-tone colored toner sheets, color art toner sheets, garden toner sheets. There are many different sizes, many different colors. And you can use any foiling machine you have, whether you have a Mink machine. This is the toner foiling I was telling you about earlier. You can use your leftover hot foil sheets with this. Some of you guys have both machines. Or if you don't have this, you have a laminator, you can use your laminator. Just make sure you're covering everything with a folded piece of paper or parchment paper or these deco foil craft sheets. Parchment paper is not the same as wax paper. Do not use wax paper. Okay? You need to let this fully cool down before you reveal it. And when you reveal it, you're going to reveal it quickly, okay? So now what we're going to have here is, remember I was worried about all of this. If I had put this in my clear carrier, this would have stuck to my clear carrier, but this is non-stick, so it didn't stick. But now I'm going to pull this quickly, very quickly. And now look, perfect results, perfect results. The only thing that it didn't stick to is this little piece of foil that was hanging off the bottom. I didn't need a solid hot foil plate for that. This is my hack, you guys. A lot of you already have a toner foiling machine. A lot of you already have poly glaze or toner sheets. So you don't need a solid hot foil plate to use your leftover foil sheets. You just use your foiling machine to transfer over your leftover foils. And no headaches. So now look, I have that beautiful leftover foil transferred over from that hot foil plate onto a Gina K white polyglaze sheet. Everybody's going to say, what toner foil bowl is that? It's not. It's a hot foil plate. So hopefully these hacks have helped you guys out. If you want to learn more about foiling, join my Facebook group. This is the Foiling Snobs Club on Facebook. And please subscribe to me if you haven't already. I'm Nancy Stamps. And you can also follow me on Instagram. It's Nancy Stamps 15. But I have a toner foiling playlist where I will teach you how to use your Mink machine or your Fuse machine or even your laminator if you're just starting out. And I will teach you also how to do hot foiling. I am on Gina K's design team, Pink and Main design team, Spellbinders design team. I also help guest every once in a while on Catherine Pooler. So I want to help everybody learn how to do more foiling. But yeah, join our Facebook group, Foiling Snobs Club. We are not snobs. We actually want to help everybody learn how to do more foiling. And I will have the links down below if you want more information on where to purchase some of these items. But paper makes a huge, huge difference. And occasionally I do teach foiling classes. We just did a sign up for advanced foiling so people can learn how to use their laser printers if you wanted to print their own designs for toner foiling. But paper makes a huge difference, and hopefully these hacks will help you with your hot foiling techniques. And I'll have some links down below. Please give this video a thumbs up if you learned something that will help you along the way with your foiling. And if you have any questions, post them down below. And would love to have you as a subscriber if you're not already one. And come join our group, the Foiling Snobs Club on Facebook. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will catch you on the next video. Bye-bye.